So I want to say a few words about being my age at this point in I don't know, history of humanity. So 2020, right? It means we are a generation like 10 years the older, the more applicable this is to. But I would imagine, yeah, even from the 40s, people in their 40s at the moment would relate to this. The younger ones, I imagine not, and I hope not. And what I'm referring to is the fact that so typically midlife crisis, or when one is perceived to be doing the crazy thing, just leaves everything behind and start all over or do something radical, and is mocked by the society usually. And there's an image of when it comes to males that buys a new car, or gets a mistress that's like 20 years younger, whatever the stereotype is. And I'm not sure for the woman what it is. I suppose starts a business, which is a great positive thing, but I think leaves husband, divorces, or maybe also has an affair, I'm not sure. So those are all stereotypes, and why I'm bringing them up is that these are reactions. They are overreactions, and they're overreactions because the work that was required to be done throughout previous years of those people's lives wasn't done. And the reason it wasn't, I don't think I mentioned this in one of my older videos, maybe even 2 days ago, something. Anyway, is that when I was growing up, I'd lived in my library, but there was nothing. Certainly, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't even interested. It's actually the truth, because I was after fairy tales and myth and folklore and those kind of fantasy worlds, definitely. But yeah, I would imagine when I was a teen and I started looking into self-help books, it was still, looking back on it now, it was still kind of teaching you how to be part of the greater fabric of the society. And I'm not saying all of them were teaching you that in a way that it was kind of still reductive of your own unique, self. But overall memory of mine could be flawed. Is that it was more like, let's make you successful as per the criteria of the of the convention of the society as we knew it at the time. The point is, it is like an excuse probably as well. Actually, this is, I'm sure, but that we didn't do the work soon enough and radically enough. And I think we were distracted by many other novelties that in our history of humanity were happening. Internet was one of them, probably. I would imagine, well, definitely. My point ultimately is that, therefore, when you're in 2020, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, or even maybe 40s, in 2020, right? Then please give yourself a break if you're overreacting still, if you're taking things too far. It's because you have held them back for so long and so far back that it's like the pendulum. Is it the pendulum thing? That when you hit it, it goes, how far it goes one way, that far goes the other way. So you might be overreacting, and it's a process. Excuse me. And it's almost like you have to experience those undulations. They might be extreme, those waves or whatever, basically extremes, right? Overreactions, in order to find your middle, in order to then settle into whatever it is your middle ground, your kind of center. Yeah. So give yourself a break. It's just physics. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just that you need to experience the other extreme to kind of balance out the holding back, the betraying yourself to the extreme, but the other end of it. And yeah, as long as you're mindful not to go rampaging and hurting other people actively, the fact that they don't like your radical ways and extreme maybe ways, as long as there's still food on their table and their health is not damaged, and everything else, they'll just have to deal with it. That is a given, no matter what age, no excuses. This is no excuse. That it would be their excuse to do any other thing, and your excuse if you're struggling with people being radical to you, or even your reasons for being radical and going to the extremes, or overreacting or taking things too far because you need to. So if you're hurt, that causes that, your kind of self-betrayal that's at the root of this, is something you kind of need to work on and essentially heal. So then, or own, or kind of rein in, so that you focus back on yourself. And but still, this is not about punishment, this is not about self-judgment, this is not about, oh, I'm not doing it right, I need to rein in. No, just kind of keep awareness on yourself as you go to the extremes, so you don't lose yourself again. That's the thing. The point is to find that center. That's midlife crisis, to find you in the way that it's fulfilling, deeply satisfying. So just keep remembering to come back, to look for the center. But yes, go to the extreme that you need to, as long as no one gets hurt. Absolutely. Okay.